Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the St. Louis Cardinals, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. All it took was the single greatest season in Major League history from Mickey Mantle. Um, yeah, that's the best. Now, in real life, I took a little bit of time to check out Baseball Reference. Um, but I haven't actually looked at the results yet, so let's talk about that together. I'm wondering if the best season in history is probably owned by Babe Ruth, but it's because of his pitching. And then perhaps someday we'll be able to see um, better stuff than that. So I would like War single season. It's actually Tim Keefe who got 20.2 WAR in 1883. That's pretty wild. Haas Radburn is number one for a pitcher. Oh no, Tim Keefe might have been a pitcher. Yeah, he was a pitcher. Okay. I mean, I get it, but I also don't think it's quite fair to say that a pitcher has the best season because, especially in the dead ball era, pitching was just easier than it is now. The highest ranked position player appears to be Babe Ruth in 1923. Um, I believe he was still pitching at that point as well. Oh no, he was well into his offense only period. Jesus Christ. I'm looking at this ridiculous season he had in 1923. A mere 41 home runs, but he was still more than twice as good as everyone else in the league. That's wild. Maybe he was still pitching in 23, was he? No, that was pure offense. Damn. His 1921 season is just a hair behind that. Maybe asking yourself, but wait a minute, didn't he hit 60 home runs in 1927? The answer to that question is yes. However, he didn't also win a batting title that year, which he did in 1924, for example. And his on base percentage was a mere 486. His on base percentage in 1920 was 545, which means more than half the time he just showed up at the ballpark. They put him on first base. That's fucking nuts. I want something a bit more modern, say post Babe Ruth. Um, I'm looking. Really, Carl Yastrzemski in '67? Was that his Triple Crown year? It might have been. This is again. This is all baseball references version of war, so their calculations will be a little bit different here. Pretty sure '67 was Triple Crown year. Yeah, it was. Any hoozle, I just wanted to have a chat about that because that was interesting. But yeah, Mickey Mantle will be the second best position player in Major League history behind just Babe Ruth's 1923 season. Um, so yes, that puts him in some historical perspective. Even more fun is the fact he had more WAR in 55 in the last 2 years combined, which is pretty wild. All right, friends. Now all you gotta do is do it again, which is not going to be easy. It is possible, but certainly not easy. So let's get to work right now. Let's go. Um, Step the first, we need to hire a new pitching coach. I like the pitchingest pitching coach that ever pitching coached, please. Um, Although I do value relationships quite a bit, I think it's more important just to have an outstanding pitching coach. Do you get along well with you do? Yeah, I think you're a good choice there. Ken Hammond is also super young, but he's got legendary development trait and good at the others. I would like to offer. Why can I not offer you a contract? Let me hire you. What? So you exist, but I can't have you, is what you're trying to tell me. That is annoying. Why is he even on the list as available if he can't be selected? I think you just don't actually exist, which is embarrassing for you. We'll take Mr. Fitzpatrick here. Done. That seems like a good choice. He's a good compromise candidate. What do we need to improve if we're going to be a better team next year? It's awfully hard to find anything obvious beyond adding more pitching. Um, I think our pitching was very good, but I think it could and should be better. Red Schoendienst probably start being phased out of the team. I think we got some pretty good years out of him, but I also think those best years are behind him. Now, whether that's Andy Carey playing second base, I don't know. But that is where we are. Ken Boyer is fucking incredible and has definitely wrested third base away permanently from Andy Carey. Fortunately, Andy Carey also knows how to play second base, so that may be one solution to our problem is shifting Carey over to second base. Although he did have a subpar year. First base, is probably either going to be Boyer or Carey potentially, but I wouldn't mind. The other thing we could do, if we want to get jazzy, if we want to get fancy, no, I guess Banks is fine at shortstop. I don't know. I do know that Frank Thomas's usefulness has disappeared. I don't even think we'd be able to get a good return for him. And let's be realistic here, though. We got 3 pretty good years out of him. It just seems like he's already peaked and he's not likely to return to the level. So a really good first baseman is definitely something else we could acquire. We also need just more depth. That's always true. And I think Albie Pearson is definitely going to get a shot to show what he can do at the major league level this year. He's definitely getting some spring training reps because we desperately need youth in the outfield to replace Woodling. And I think that is Albie Pearson's most likely goal is to replace Pearson. Or not Pearson. Pearson cannot replace Pearson. Well, I guess he replace Pearson, but no, it's replace Gene Woodling, who's still doing the bare minimum quite well. But he's becoming a liability in the field, and he doesn't have any power anymore. His power is just disintegrated. Still an important piece of the team for now, but I would love for Albie Pearson to surpass him. It would be a delight. Speaking of things that are delights, let's get people into the player development lab. I've decided that my owner can control these nuts. Gary Bell, for the love of God, first strikes. Albie Pearson, I really don't care how you get better. I just want you to get better, but I do think it's important for you to probably start with plate discipline. I think it's something you'll be able to learn a little bit faster, and that's what's going to help you replace Woodling faster. Jim Gentile, if you have any chance to be a quality first baseman, you got to put the bat on the ball. So how about you work on quality of contact? Luke Clinton, I don't even know who you are, but let's have you work on discipline because it's always the right answer. Dick Stigman, work on control. Again, always the right answer. And lastly, Charles Schaffernoth, work on your secondary pitches just for fun. For something different. Because look, his control is already borderline acceptable. If we could get him to actually be a little bit more dynamic, that would be pretty nice. Good old Chuck Grimsley has already proven to be an excellent asset in relief. I love to see it. Any interesting free agents this year? Not really, unless their definition of interesting is very, very, very limited. I will offer, just because it shouldn't cost me anything, both Tom Mascara and Ed Blake contracts of the minor league variety. Just gives a little more depth in the minors and gives us a little bit of a deeper pool to grab from if we do need somebody. It's likely the only offer we've received at this point. There we go. Done. I mean, do what you gotta do, bro. A gold glove for Rocky Colavito. I think that's the second, isn't it? And then Harvey Haddix. I think it's Colavito's second. Yeah, it is. Nice. He is such a great player. Like, Colavito's biggest weakness is going to be the fact that so much of his game revolves around power and his batting eye, which means in years that his contact is off a little bit, he's going to look less productive. But I still think he's got every possibility to be a mega star in this league. Harvey Haddix is also a two-time Gold Glove winner. Nice. You'd love to see it. Let's just zip to the end of the awards because I don't really have anything to do before then. If anyone else had won MVP, I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Lou Boudreaux's pretty good. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think Paul Derringer should too, but it seems like he's gonna be a harder sell. Love me some Bob Feller, absolutely. I will vote for Max Lanier and Dutch Leonard. Tommy Holmes is interesting. I don't know why he's getting so much attention because his actual career wasn't that exceptional. Unless you pitched two, which you did not. Yeah, I don't know why people like Tommy Holmes so much. I'm gonna keep looking, but I might come back to him if it seems like there's somebody really useful there. Right. Ken Keltner I will vote for. I don't think it's gonna matter, but I will vote for him. I guess Tommy Holmes at least deserves consideration, as does Joe Gordon. But like, we're really splitting hairs at this point because other than Boudreaux and maybe one of the pitchers, nobody else here is like, yes, this person has to be a Hall of Famer. Like I'll vote for say Ken Raffensperger and Schoolboy Rowe, but I don't think it's really gonna matter. No, I gotta go for Lon Warnicki. I gotta try to get him in. How successful I'll end up being is up for debate. Like I feel pretty confident Boudreaux's gonna sail in. If somebody else gets in this year, it's gonna be a different matter. You're damn right I'm the top AL manager. And Mickey Mantle's a fucking MVP unanimously. He'd better be, okay? He had better be. The only thing the lazy bastard didn't do was win a triple crown because he got Ernie Banks bested him in ribbies. But he did win the sabermetric triple crown. It's far more important. Far, far, far more important than whether somebody got a bunch of RBI or not. Man. Banks, Boyer, Mantle, and Colavito is such an incredible core that if all of them continue to work to their potential, we've got a chance to be really great. Who's in this draft? A bunch of nobodies. Willie McCovey, Brooks Robinson. I'm joking. The highly crucial but maybe not the best player, Kurt Flood, the guy who helped get free agency a thing, along with Andy Messerschmidt and Dave McNally. Um, and some pretty decent guys in here too. Like there's decent players in there that aren't megastars. I think so. I said Mo Drabowski looks like this amazing pitcher. He's actually pretty good in real life though. Veda Pinson, pretty solid. Can't go wrong with Jada Pinson, Veda Pinson. Um, Tommy Davis is one of the crew of had a fantastic early start to the career and then just exploded in the bad way to the point where he's just wasn't very good at the end. But he maybe this time he'll be different. Felipe Alou, pretty solid choice. Jim Perry, the older brother of Gaylord Perry. There are some names here. They're maybe not exciting. There's Immortal Legend Bob Uecker. What were actual real life stats? Like, yeah. But he's an amazing announcer, and one of the reasons the Major League is such a funny movie. One of the reasons. It's also just a funny movie. Good times. Who do I think is gonna fall to us? That's gonna be rough. A guy like Brooks Robinson definitely could. We happen to be one of the few teams in the Major Leagues that doesn't need a third baseman. So we'll see who's left when we get to pick. It'll probably be a pitcher. If there's at least one good pitcher left, I think that's where I have to focus my efforts. But if, say, McCovey fell to me, or Davis, I would take them as a first baseman in a heartbeat. Willie McCovey is so fucking good. Well, I don't have Brooks Robinson to kick around. Veda Pinson slipped. Interesting. Here's our problem with Veda Pinson. The one position I definitely don't need help at is outfield. And I just feel like no matter how much raw talent he has, I don't know that he has a position on this team. But it's hard to pass up Hall of Fame talent like Veda Pinson's. Although the real life Hall of I don't think Veda Pinson made the Hall of Fame in real life. I think he was considered Hall of Very Good, but never Hall of Fame. Maybe he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna look it up. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. He tried, but he never got more than 28% of the ballot, and that was on the Veterans Committee in 2005. The writers didn't even give him more than 10% most of the time. Okay. Veda Pinson's definitely interesting. Bob Lee. This concerns me greatly. Everything else about Mr. Lee here is pretty exciting, but his load control means I don't know how long he's going to be in the major leagues is useful. Fred Taylor is just unremarkable. He's got some good stats that are pretty beneficial, but none of his pitches are plus. And that's going to cause him to have a difficult time striking people out. We could get stupid and draft a reliever who's actually really, really good. Is that dumb? Like, my bullpen is fine, but it lacks top level talent. A fucking dude like Mike McCormick could actually be huge. Let's do it. This is wild, I know, that I'm taking really high quality players and I'm passing them up for a reliever. But reliever is what we need. That is what we require. So there you go. Done. Alright, I am not passing Oveda Pins in the second round. I just refuse to do that. If it takes a while to get better, that's fine with me. And we're already at the point of the season, point of the thing where it's kind of mid. I think Chuck Daniels is a great character guy. I don't know that he's going to have much of a major league career, but I'm willing to give him a chance to figure it out. You can have your 150 wing wangs. Frederick Hopke sucks. Just do what you want, scouting director. I believe that you. Hector Maestri is stupid as shit, but he's not the worst, and it only costs you 200 bucks to figure out if he can be anything decent. I like Dave Garrick's pitch selection. Like, he has some really good pitches. It's just his ability to make anything useful with them. But he throws hard enough that he could at least be an interesting reliever if given the opportunity. So I'm willing to give that a shot. Bill Davidson is fine. He's an okay defender, but I just don't think he's worth whatever it is he actually wants. Which is 20 grand. Get the fuck out of here, man. And the rest of these guys just suck. Alright. Are there any Rule 5 cats that we need to deal with? Not really. Okay. I would be very appreciative if we could acquire a starting pitcher here. That gives us Jefferson, Johnny Pod Racing, and Haddix as our top three. It gives Grant and Bell a chance to develop in a lower stakes assignment. A veteran starting pitcher could be right where it's at. I just don't know what I have to trade that they're going to want. Because I'm not prepared to give up either Jem Gentile or Albie Pearson, who are my only two top prospects. So I could trade Wright Schoendienst and hand the job to Andy Carey. Hmm. What is up for grabs if I were to trade this distinguished gentleman? I mean, I could get Bobby Morgan, or I could not because he's actually pretty limited. I could bring Early Win back. That seems pretty stupid. Pretty dumb. Billy Goodman's not a bad second baseman. I just think that I can do better with just trusting Andy Carey, unless the person that we find is just that good. Now, Bob Lemon might be the right fit for us. I think Bob Lemon would help really stabilize the rotation, and I think he's worth it. So I think we're gonna make this trade. I will look at his prospects and see if there's anything I could grab. Like a Don Cardwell would be fantastic. But I'm not willing to give you anything special for him, so I will simply keep looking. This is a bit of a gamble, but let's be realistic. I don't think that Schoendienst has too many good years left. And I think adding Lemon makes us more competitive in the short term. Even if he turns out to be an issue down the line, I will submit this offer and see if they take it. Probably not. Yeah, I will literally offer you the same thing I offer you for, just nothing. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I will just take Bob Lemon and take that as an upgrade. I know the fans are going to be sad because he's so popular, but I think Bob Lemon makes us a better team. I think it just gives us so much more depth. It gives us a rotation that other teams are going to fear, and it takes pressure off the youngsters. So I think that's the right decision. I feel pretty confident that we made the right call there. Andy Carey is going to play second base this year. I don't know how it's going to go, but he's going to try it. It's going to take him some time, but he's going to have all of spring training to work at second base. So we'll figure out how that goes. I think Ed Boucher is going to get his chance to play first base this year. I just think there's nothing left for Frank Thomas. I'm going to trade Frank Thomas, actually. I wonder if somebody would be willing to offer me an interesting second baseman for him. I don't know that Gene Baker's better than Carey. No matter what his fancy numbers say. Now, Jim Gilliam, I could get behind. His arm isn't great, but I think overall he's a pretty solid second baseman, and he's a non-base guy, which is something we always like to see. Jim Gilliam, I think, is a good fit. The fans love them some Frank Thomas, evidently. Yeah, Jim Gilliam is just a better shortstop, a better second baseman than Carey, so I think that gives us more options too. Okay. Let's be about it and continue onward with this offseason. Up to the Rule 5. Like, I don't care. If you don't sign immediately, I will just tell you to get fucked and you'll figure it out. You're going right to St. Louis, Mike McCormick. Is there anybody fascinating in the Rule 5 draft? Probably not. There might be, but probably not. Oh god, I never added Jim Gilliam to the fucking 40 man. Whoops. That's embarrassing. Yeah, you are most definitely on this major league roster. I don't know why you thought you weren't going to be. There we go. All right, let's auto draft until my pick. Ray Herbert just has very little appeal to me. He doesn't have any decent pitches. He's just kind of there. I don't think he does anything for me. There is legendary Cardinals manager Whitey Herzog, but he's not that great a player. Mm. I just don't see anything here that really rustles my jimmies. Jim Coates maybe. Jim Coates has enough raw talent with decent velocity, two great pitches and one pretty good one. I think talent change could actually be beneficial for him. I think I will go ahead and take Jim Coates, and we'll see what he might be able to accomplish for us. Sammy Esposito is at least interesting enough to try out as a utility guy that I'm willing to go ahead and select him too. And I think that's it. I think that is acquired what we needed to acquire, and I think that is a sufficient Rule 5 haul. We had to be prepared for Mickey Mantle to decline. Like, it'd almost be more of a shock if he didn't, just because of how incredible he was that season. But I wish he didn't. If he can come back and be like, I'm the fucking greatest, then hell yeah. Put up 10 more seasons, as many as you like, Mr. Mantle. I will not say boo. Yeah, Boudreaux did not sail him by as much as I thought, which is kind of shocking. Um, 93% still pretty damn good, but poor Dizzy Trout. He had a decent career, it just wasn't long enough or good enough. Like at his peak, he was pretty great, but the problem is his peak wasn't very long. And if you're gonna vote for somebody based on their peak, they have to have a decent peak. They have to if we're like the peak only guys are so rare that I think certain people get too hot and bothered about them. Um, like the classic example is always going to be Sandy Koufax because he blew out his arm. And I think it is easier for pitchers to make the I have an incredible peak, therefore you should consider me for the Hall of Fame than hitters do. Um, like I think Roger Maris is probably the closest to a peak hitter that didn't have a great rest of his career. He's an example of somebody that I think gets Hall of Fame consideration because of his peak when the rest of his career wasn't that noteworthy. Um, wow, great owner. All those things I said about you last season, don't pay attention to them. Am I gonna make you happy this year? Probably not. You're probably gonna be pissy at me that I don't have a hometown player. Mm, mm. Like, I guess I could look for somebody, I suppose. Let's look for players that are at least ranked of 50 from St. Louis. Nobody? Hitters? I mean, Yogi Berra is not going to happen. Like, we're not going to be able to acquire Yogi Berra. Wouldn't it be awesome if we did, though? Oh, he's also an asshole, apparently. Okay. I mean, Joe Garagiola might be more acquirable. What would it cost me to get Joe Garagiola on site? Because I wouldn't mind a really good backup catcher. Probably do Lou Berberet. Yeah, this is purely to make the owner happy and give us a little bit more depth at catcher should something happen. All right, I think you're gonna be my new backup catcher. And now the owner should be happy that I got him his hometown star. Damn! It turns out winning the World Series is good for attendance. Who knew? All right, you're gonna be happy. Fantastic. Oh ho, Hoyt Wilhelm adding velocity. Johnny Pod Racing, getting better. Bob Lemon improving his velocity is not something that I anticipated, but I'm here for it. A lot of people are improving their velocity. Well, not everyone. George Jefferson just got a lot worse. But Joey J got a lot better. A lot better. Grant got better. Bell got a little bit worse overall, but still okay. Okay. Mick Mantle just got better. Oh my god. Calvito got a tiny bit worse. Some of this too, and let's not overreact. Some of this too might just be um ring rust. Rust from not having played in a while. So don't overreact to drops in spring training. This is my measure there. Good. Mm, good. Amazing. And let us simulate up to spring training, please. I genuinely don't care, Thomas. I hope you enjoy your time with the Cubs because you're a little bitch and I've got sick of hearing your bullshit. Pearson and Gentile are both going to get a chance, as will Barry Latman and Bob Blaylock. And I think that's it for now. I'm going to let my bench coach do whatever he wants. I do want to carry a six-man rotation, though. And I do want, and you can go ahead and set the lineup however you'd like. Okay. Ken Boyer hitting 8th is fucking hilarious, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. I don't want to worry too much about who's batting where in spring training because it's just going to be a matter of who gets to spring training healthy and who stands out and makes improvement. I mean, we could lose Johnny Potter racing for 3 months. That's fine. Who needs starting pitching? I certainly don't. It's overrated, is what I've always said. Johnny Padres would probably be spinning in his grave if he's like, wait a minute, why is he using my name as a Star Wars reference? What the fuck is a Star Wars? I mean, who wouldn't know what Star Wars was? Maybe. I don't know. If you're an aficionado of all things Johnny Padres, and you can tell me whether he knew anything about if you ever saw Star Wars, I'd appreciate that. There's got to be at least one of you, right? There's literally dozens of us who eat, sleep, and breathe all the Johnny Padres news. Actually, I think in real life, a bit of a story. Speaking of Sandy Koufax, I'm pretty sure he said Johnny Padres was the one who taught him how to pitch once he got to the major leagues. I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah. Yep. So there you go. All right. No other serious injuries other than Mr. Pod Racing. So let's go ahead. 19 pitchers is absurd. I'm not carrying 19 pitchers. Don't be stupid, game. Let's start reducing the numbers here. Blaylock to the minors. Bauman to the minors. Barry Latman to the minors. Donald Asplund to the minors. Tom Morgan to the minors. Jackie Collum or Frank Schultz to the minors. Jackie Collum, like, no. That is my response to that question. Where am I at pitching wise? 12? 12 seems reasonable. I think 12 is a good number of pitchers to have. Um, Maybe it's a little bit excessive. I want to keep Johnny Cucks because he's actually had two good seasons for us in a row. I think he's a useful pitcher to have in the lineup. But maybe I think maybe Gary Bell or Jim Coates needs to go. I think Gary Bell needs to go back to the minors. I don't need to rush him that hard, and I really need him to work on his control if he's going to be a success in the major leagues. So Gary, get back to the minors. All right, 11 pitchers. Let's fucking go. Let's set this up. All right, Harvey Haddix is very clearly my ace. Very clearly. Um, then I think we do Jefferson, Lemon, Grant, and Jay. Now the problem is with Johnny Padre, especially in the beginning of the season, we're going to be kind of a one-man show for top tier pitching with Harvey Haddix, and I don't know whether he's still capable of handling that. Our starting pitching staff is also surprisingly old and yet surprisingly young. We have two guys that are over 30. We have two guys over 30 and two guys under 30. But two guys that are 20 and one guy's exactly 30. So, relief, I trust Charles Grimsley more than I trust just about anybody else. So he's going to be our stopper. Boyd Wilhelm is going to be set up. And then I want to make sure that the rest, Johnny Cox is going to be emergency starter, long relief. And then I want Mike McCormick getting lots and lots of pitching experience. He's more often, and if we have a really tough lefty, I want you to come in. Then the rest of you two can just be pitching innings to get stuff done. There we go. This is hardly a terrifying rotation. We've definitely taken a bit of a step back versus last year. So it's going to be really important to see if we can manage to use if Grant and Jay can both take leaps. That's going to be hugely beneficial to us. All right. The line oop. Pete Daly can go right back to the minors. Thanks for your service. A Jim Gentile is not ready for the big leagues yet. Um, I don't view Maestri as a Gold Glove winner. I just don't think it's worth keeping him around in the majors for now. Um, I really want to give Albie Pearson a shot, and he's already clearly learned all he can learn in AAA, I guess. No, Pearson goes back to the minors, I think. I think a little more seasoning in AAA would actually do him the world of good. One more player has to go. Jim Bolger is just uninteresting. He just isn't very good at baseball. I'm sorry, Jim, but it's the truth. There you go. All right, let's blow this up and set up our team the way we would like it set up. All right. Um, we're gonna go Jim Gilliam leadoff and Gene Woodling hitting second. This is because Woodling has at least a little bit of power theoretically, which means he can up drive Gilliam along. Our number three hitter is going to be Mickey Mantle. Like there was never any doubt he's going to be our number three hitter. The only question for me is whether that actually become our number two hitter. Mantle hits third. Banks hits cleanup, I think, or Colavito does. It doesn't really matter. They're really quite similar players. I think because Banks has slightly better legs, I want him hitting cleanup, and then we'll hit Colavito. And then Ken Boyer slides in to hit sixth. The new guy, Ed Boucher, is going to hit seventh. And Stan Lopata is going to hit eighth. Not because he sucks, because I literally don't have anywhere else to hit him. I don't mind Andy Carey getting regular reps at second base, but I don't want him playing that frequently. And Joe Gregorio is absolutely not playing every 3 games. You may play every 7 games, Mr. Carey. You can get a start once a week, and we can see how you take to second base. All right. Paste and paste. This lineup is really good, but it is fragile. And I think that's probably where my biggest concern is. I don't have a ton of depth, especially in the infield and the minors. Um, I think at least one good replacement for every position, except center field. If we lose Mickey Mantle in a lot of ways, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So let's just not do that. What if he just didn't ever get injured again? Wouldn't that be something? What if we took Mickey Mantle, made him out of fucking adamantium like Wolverine? So even if he did get injured, he just healed instantly. How would that be? That'd be pretty freaking great. This is the number 5 minor league system this year, which is pretty nice. Almost entirely because of Veda Pinson, which is funny. But I'm here for it. Let's play some baseball, yo. Let's base those balls. Gene Woodling is injured. I think that's Albie Pearson's music. I have no idea how this is going to go. Truly no clue whatsoever, but we're going to give him his shot. Um, I feel like Walt Marin actually has done enough to earn at least a chance. So I think Mr. Marin here will actually take over in left field. But I have to juggle the lineup a bit because I want somebody who's got really good batting eye. batting second. Ed Boucher's gonna hit second now. And then Walt Marin is gonna start and play left field. I want Pearson getting some experience, but I don't want him starting unless something really special has happened. Every 7 games. Done. And then copy and paste. Pearson might not get too many at bats, but I still think it's going to be a good experience for him to just get some time up with the major leagues while Woodling recovers. If he recovers, I mean, given his age, there's every possibility that he just hits a nosedive and just isn't the same guy. Also, can we talk about Shohei Ohtani being fucking insane this year? He's basically Mickey Mantle from our last season. I mean, he's not that level of awesome because he is a designated hitter. But look, okay, I know I've already made my opinion on this very plain, but I'm going to do it again. If you think anyone other than Shohei Ohtani is a National League MVP after being the only 50-50 hitter in Major League history, I don't know what to tell you. I am a gigantic fan of Frankie Lindor. Loved him on Cleveland. Sad when he was gone. An incredible player. He's not a 50-50 player. And yes, is Frankie Lindor a pretty good shortstop? Yes. But a truly historic accomplishment when he's also just that incredible? I don't know. I wouldn't cry myself to sleep if Frankie Lindor won MVP, but I think it's Otani's award to lose. Same with Aaron Judge in the American League. Although in the American League, I think Bobby Witt Jr. has a better case than. Actually, no, Bobby Witt doesn't have as good a case because Aaron Judge is actually a pretty damn good outfielder. Like the only knock you can make against Shohei Ohtani is the fact that he's a DH. Um, I don't know. That's who I would vote for. I'd vote for probably Judge and definitely Ohtani if I had MVP votes in real life. But I don't. Is it an oversight? Maybe. Oh, Mickey. All right. We can endure 3 weeks. What this means is that uh, you are going to be playing every day now, Pearson, and I don't know how I feel about that. We're gonna move Ken Boyer up, and he's gonna hit third while Mantle is out, and then Mr. Albie Pearson is gonna play center field. Obviously, I don't want Mickey Mantle to be hurt at all, but if he's only gonna miss 3 weeks, I'm gonna count that as truly fortunate. Not that it says he's gonna have like this giant setback and like his leg's gonna fall off or something. We get Gene Woodling back. Yeah, Mickey Mantle's now up to unknown. I knew it. Do we bring Woodling back? I feel pretty confident that the answer to that is yes, but I do at least want to look at how Walt Marin has been hitting given the opportunity. He's been hitting okay. Not enough though. Definitely not enough. I think Woodling has to come back. I think the question is just who do we send down, and I think the answer to that is Bolger. So Woodling gets his lineup spot back. He's gonna play, and then he's gonna be our number 2 hitter. Although it doesn't have to be. Is it crazy that they keep making Ed Boucher the number 3 hitter? Assuming everybody else down? I don't think that's that crazy. Then Boyer hits there, because I do want Banks and Colavito hitting cleanup and 5th, respectively. I think generate a new depth chart. If you want to let Marin get some hits, get some mixer in every now and again, that's fine with me. But maybe once every 10 games, just because I think Boucher is really good this year. All right, Mickey Mantle is back. Albie Pearson's Major League debut has not gone well. But he's got experience now. He's been to the show. And now he can be like, I'm not that bad. Oh, you're not. You're actually a very cromulent player. All right, so now the interesting question comes up. Now that Mantle is back, how do I rejigger this lineup? Like, Boucher is performing at an extremely high level. I'd like him to hit in the top two. Maybe even over Jim Gilliam. Yeah, I think that's the answer. I think Woodling leads off, Boucher hits second, and then Mantle hits third. That's the solution. That's it. It's amazing how quickly I've come to trust Ed Boucher, but he's just been that damn good this year. Um, if tired, and then every 7 games. Do I want to actually let Andy Carey play more frequent than Gilliam? Not yet, but actually, let's let him start once a week. I think that's reasonable. I think that is manifestly a reasonable decision to make. That is a decision that reasonable people would make. Our lineup is extremely right-handed, except for no, I guess not extremely right-handed. We have 4 full-time righties, 2 full-time lefties, and 2 switches. So I guess it's actually literally half right-handed. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. Hmm. It is now June. Let's take stock of our pitching staff because that is what concerns me the most right now. How bad are we? We're pretty bad. Hmm. Getting Johnny Pod Racing back will obviously be a huge benefit to that, but George Jefferson is very clearly washed. He has nothing left to offer. He's just walking everybody, which is a bad look. Mudcat Grant, I think we have to go through some growing pains for him, but I think George Jefferson is on his way out. I think he's going to be the one that gets bumped when Johnny Pod Racing comes back. I think that's going to be a big advantage for us, is getting him to return and be ready to go. How's Gary Bell doing in the minor leagues? He's doing okay. He's not really developing yet, that which makes me sad. But yeah, our rotation is definitely holding us back right now. Like, even Bob Lemon's not that great. We basically have 4 replacement level starters and Harvey Haddix. Joey J's a little better than replacement level. All right. Is there a veteran starting pitcher who could make a difference in our team's fortunes? No, there is not. Okay. Okay, Johnny. George Jefferson, I will trade you for literally anything. I will trade you for a bag of baseballs, even if some of those baseballs aren't all that great. Alex Ornelas, if you could improve your control even slightly, you'd be a big asset. So we're gonna give it the old college try. Um, and oh my lord, Johnny Pod Racing, we desperately need you. Desperately. Um, yeah. We're doing better. We're actually doing a lot better. I don't know how much that is just bringing having a great starting pitcher back in our team. How much it is just Mickey Mantle doing Mickey Mantle things, but I'm here for it no matter what. 13 wins feels pretty good. I gotta be honest with you. Mantle is the best hitter. Who knew? I'm surprised Rookie of the Month hasn't been given to Boucher yet. Losing Blasi isn't exciting, but it's not unsurvivable. But Ed Boucher has become excellent. Really happy about that. Albie Pierce is getting better playing center field, I guess, and Gary Bell's control is slightly improving. Nice. I don't know what else Ed Boucher has to do to win Rookie of the Month. It's just very strange to me that he can't even be given consideration for it. Whatever. Um, our lineup is good. I feel pretty confident saying our lineup is pretty damn good. When Ken Boyer hitting 259 is the worst hitter on the team. You know what, Stan Lopata, if you can ever hit 300, you're that incredible. I'm gonna give you more hitting time. But I do want Jim Gilliam. Oh, Jim Gilliam is also improved. Nice. He's also turned it around a little bit during a little hitting streak here. Stan Lopata realistically might be the second best hitter on the team this year, which is what's frankly terrifying. But I'm here for it. I am here for it. Has Mickey Mantle ever been 30-30 in this campaign yet? No, he hasn't even sold 20 stolen bases yet. That's right, that's not what he's here for. He's not here to steal bases. He's here to hit baseballs a really long way. Gene Woodling does what he does, but I am getting concerned about his dwindling power. Oh, it's better than last year's. So, Ed Boucher is so good. So good. I'm really excited to have him on our team. Colavito's off a little bit this year. Um, but still very productive. Like, I'm not that mad at him or anything. I can expect it at 290 regularly, but he is a little bit off. Nonetheless, Johnny Pod Racing is struggling. That's understandable. He just came off of an injury. Let's give him some space. Mudcat is literally replacement level. I think at a certain point, you have to take the stats that are being given to you. And those stats are the Johnny Cucks is a better starter right now than Mudcat Grant is. So we're going to do that. Joey J just needs to get a little bit better, but he at least has enough upside that I'm interested in letting him play more. I think Mudcat Grant needs to just get regular work in as a middle reliever, long reliever, and improve his reliability. Our bullpen is pretty damn good this year, though. You know, Charles Grimm's not striking people out this year the way he was last year. He's still pretty effective at his job. All right, let us advance to All-Star teams, and let's see who gets to make the All-Star team this year for the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm gonna guess we have at least 4. Damn, good job, Gary Bell. Wait, oh, that's right. They moved to Baltimore. Sorry, my mistake. Stan Lopata, Ernie Banks, Mickey Mantle, and Harvey Haddix. I said four. We got four. Interesting. Frank Thomas has had himself a little bit of a renaissance with the Phillies. I'm going to shortlist him. I just want to see how he does. Hmm. Did I maybe overreact? Maybe, but I also pretty desperately needed another pitcher. So I pretty desperately needed a second baseman that I could trust. So I think I still made the right decision in trading him. Let me see some review of goals. You better be more than delighted. You better be like, you are the greatest human being that ever lived. That's my expectation for you. Veda Pinson is still a number 10. Nice. Alright, you would give me the Bob Grimm. I don't need a reliever, though, so I will pass on your kind offer. But I must decline it. Okay, what do we need in order to get better? We desperately need another starting pitcher. I think that is the single thing that would transform our probabilities for the rest of the year. Um, a top tier starting pitcher would make a big difference. Now, there's a couple ways we could get that. One, we could promote Gary Bell. Jim Gentile's in an interesting spot. I don't have a spot for him on the roster. So if I could get a great starting pitcher, I think Gentile is my trade shit. Albie Pearson's also doing better. Oh no, that's awful. I mean, I guess it's not unexpected, but it is awful. That is his outfield experience is capped now, but whatever. Is the answer literally just promoting Gary Bell? Probably not. Let's look and see what's available during this glorious trade deadline. Are there top tier starters on offer? Bill White is not that great a pitcher. Connie Johnson is. Connie Johnson is the kind of pitcher that I think would actually make a pretty big difference if we brought him in. So let's go ahead and trade for him. It literally cost me almost nothing to acquire him. That's funny. You don't want Gentile? Huh. I'm not going to give you Pearson. Um. mm, I don't want to give up Jim Gentile if I can avoid it. What if I offered you Lou Clinton? All right, now we're talking. Which of our pitchers would I be most willing to give up? Because I do want to make a spot on the roster for him. Um, that is the question, isn't it? I mean, I guess if you really want Joseph Di Maestri, you can have him. All right. So we've now fortified the rotation. Who gets to go to give up his roster spot? I think Mudcat Grant goes back to the minor leagues. I think he might already be ruined. Damn. Yeah, go ahead and head back to the minors, Mr. Grant. I'm gonna call you up, Connie Johnson. And then I want Joey J coming out. No, I want Bob Lemon coming out of the bullpen. Lemon is actually the one who's performed the least good, and so I think Connie Johnson gets his spot in the rotation. And then you're going to be emergency starting, long relieving for the rest of the season. I don't care if he is selfish. I just want the kind of pitcher that helps us make it more likely that we, first of all, win the pennant, but also potentially win the World Series. I just think he's a pretty dramatic improvement over what we already had. I mean, give very little for it. Like, I don't think Luke Clinton is going to be anything special. Luke Clinton can play center field, though. Shit. Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't even notice that. Damn it. Can I trade Jim Gentile for a top quality prospect? No, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep him. I think it's foolish to assume that. I mean, Ed Boucher can also play the outfield, so that is one solution to our problem. Is just letting Ed Boucher play the outfield. I do not need another starting pitcher, but thank you for the offer. It's very kind of you. And then let's go ahead and advance to the next sim. Trade line is done. And we finish the month of July. Mm. I should have paid more attention to who I offered, and I did need another center fielder in case something happens to Mantle, and I don't have one now. It'd be like that sometimes. Mike McCormick is throwing harder. Grimsley's getting better. Gilliam's getting better. Woodling's getting better. Nice improvement from Gary Bell and Jim Gentile. Good improvements all around. I will be back in a moment. A successful deadline, I think. Now we progress through August. Gruely's another 13-game winning streak right now. Maybe I'm being greedy. I probably am being greedy, but it would make me feel better. Just casually just win 13 games whenever you want. Wow, 14 has already been eliminated and it's just now September in the game. That's pretty wild. Nothing too crazy happening here. I mean, Jim Bolger's only issue is that he can't play center field. That's a fun graphical quirk, unless it's just that important that Hector Masterpiece can throw a splitter now. All right. Is there anybody that I want to call up and give some experience to? I think Albie Pearson is a good choice as somebody who could use some experience in the major league level. He's played very well in AAA. I just don't know how much more he's got left to learn in AAA. Um, let's also bring up Gentile and Bell. I think all of these guys have something or other to offer. And then I'm just gonna update the depth chart. So I'm not gonna change starting lineup. That would be stupid. But I can and will offer other possibilities for things and stuff. Copy and paste. All right, let's go to the end of the regular season. We should be clinching any day now, I think. because of retirements we got cut off here. That is deeply unfortunate. Losing Connie Johnson really sucks. I had high hopes for Connie helping us get over the hump in October. All right, recalculating. Um, I think the answer is we either call up. I think we call up Mudcat to give him more reps in relief. But I think the person who actually starts is actually going to be Gary Bell. Maybe. I mean, it could be Bob Lemon. I just feel like if Gary Bell isn't challenged, he'll never get where he needs to get. Let's use Gary Bell as our fifth starter for now. And then you're going to be a long reliever. That is really unfortunate. Um, All right. You're getting shut down. I'm not even taking a risk here. Yeah. You're not even being given the option to play through it. I would much rather let Mudcat Grant pitch some meaningless innings at the end of the season than have you do it and miss you for the postseason. We'll use Bob Lemon instead. Yeah, so 6-1 half dozen of the other. We'll use Mudcat, I guess. The youngster can get some experience in. Bunch of people retired. I don't care. Also, I won the pennant for the second year in a row. That feels pretty good. 20-2. That seems unnecessary. Fuck. Nice. Mickey Mantle finally did it. Ernie Banks was finally like, you know what? You got this now. 55 home runs, 14 WAR. Mickey Mantle had the best year in Major League history, and then was like, what if I got even better? You absolute fucking unit. You're just like, what if I played better? In less games. Oh my god, Mickey Mantle's so good. He's so good. So good. Okay. How much longer for Harvey Haddix to return? We don't know. It's the postseason, guys. I'm not leaving him off the postseason roster. I'm just not going to do that. If he can't pitch, he can't pitch. But I just think it's more important. Like, it sucks his ankle is sprained and definitely affects him from pitching. But it's the fucking post. It's the World Series, guys. We're not going to let him not make the roster. Um, I will add. I think Gary Bell, in case Harvey Haddix can't go. Alright, so we're gonna run a four-man rotation in the postseason here. And as gross as this feels, given their actual talent levels, I think Harvey Haddix has to be our fourth starter. Every extra day we can give him to recover is going to improve the chances of him actually being useful when the postseason starts. So lineups aren't going to change. All right, guys, we are facing the Washington Senators. Not those guys. It's all up to. Oh, they have Don Drysdale. Have you had him the entire time? Oh, you just got promoted. Damn. Oof. Really, Bill White? Really? Okay, fine. Guys, like, this is not the time to be telling about every single player that retires in the minor leagues. There we go. A nice little bounce back. Appreciated. Uh, fuck you, Bill White. Settle down. He's having himself a fucking playoff series for the ages. I don't know if we can compete with that. I don't want Johnny Pod Racing pitching on short rest. Oh, he did pitch 4 days ago. Then he's fine. Yeah, whatever happened to Pod Race this season, he is just not the same pitcher, which really sucks because I'm pretty confident we're gonna get beat here. We did bounce back a little bit thanks to Bob Lemon in relief. Did Harvey Haddock start that game? No, he didn't. Johnny Cucks did, and he got his ass beat. Oh, for once, Johnny Pod Racing didn't screw it up. Is Harvey Haddock still injured? Oh my god, get fucking better, dude. I can't risk his long term health. If he's ready to go, he's ready to go. But if he's not, then I think we ask Joey J to carry the thing for us. I'm gonna close my eyes, see who wins. Oh my gosh, what a, holy shit. Like, there wasn't even the least bit of drama. We just beat the ever loving shit out of them. Like, the #1 offense in Major League Baseball. Holy shit. Like, this is such a competitive series for most of the World Series. And then they're just like, you know what? We almost scored 1,000 runs. That's 200 more runs than you scored. How about we fucking flex on you jerks? Wow. We had some bad pitching in this series. Very few of my starters cover themselves in glory. Johnny Padres was awful. Um, one small shout out to Joey J. I certainly don't think Joey J is flawless, but I think his performance is understated. But also, Mickey Mantle's really good at baseball. Um, wow, 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 wow! What a dramatic victory there! Like, I thought we were toast because our pitching just wasn't getting it done. But it turns out we have a Triple Crown winner playing at the very best he possibly can. That's pretty good. Why doesn't every team simply have Mickey Mantle? It seems like that would solve a lot of teams' problems. Oakland A's being forced to move, just have Mickey Mantle. Maybe they're just stupid. Wow. Um, our lineup is so ridiculously good that we overcame some pretty piss poor pitching. I would love for that to be a little bit more even next year. I'd love for our pitching to be able to at least not force us to score 14 runs to guarantee a victory. But at least our bullpen's really good. It's just a question of relying on older starting pitchers that are all getting injured at the same time, or just losing their effectiveness like Bob Lemon did. Um, that's so crazy to me. If I were president, I would attend all the baseball games I could. You could go to the World Series. I was talking to my wife the other day. We were at the grocery store. We were buying some water, and the case of water is like you can win a trip to the World Series. Um, and I was like, and she was like, I don't think our teams are going to make it. Well, her team is the Cubs and mine is the Guardians. And I said, well, the Guardians playing really well this year. They might make the World Series. But I got to think of myself, it's the World fucking Series. I don't care who's in it. If I got free tickets, I would go. 20 billion%. Not even a second's hesitation. I don't care if it's like the Yankees playing the Marlins again, which would probably be like my nightmare scenario. No. It's fucking happening. Let's go. Um the fans love us. You should be like, every goal I've ever thought about has been met. Delighted, it should be like orgiastic. I'm just saying. Poor Clarence Hack, I guess, really was a hack. Let's break down the season. Besides Mickey Mantle's fucking incredible. Okay, this is such an absurd baseball season. Didn't even play every game. Missed. No, we're in 154 games still. So missed 26 games. Led the league in batting average. Led the league in all the Triple Crown stats. He was 2.5 times as good as any other baseball player on planet Earth. He led the league in walks and ribbies and homers and batting average. He had 381. Like, the loser didn't steal 20 bases. He's off the team. I'm joking. He's fucking insane. Okay. I want you to look at this right now and realize something important. This is a Hall of Famer right now. Remember we were talking earlier about how I said it's hard for hitters to have the kind of peak? The only thing stopping him from being a Hall of Famer is quite literally you have to have 10 seasons to be a Hall of Famer. That's it. Even if he never played another game, if they waived that rule, I think he would make it in just based off his ridiculous peak. He already had the best season in baseball history, and then it's like, what if I did it better next year? That's fucking crazy, man. But let's not lose sight of the other incredible seasons we got. Ken Boyer is a star, a genuine star, and also a local boy. He's from Missouri. Uh, Good defense, great offensive portfolio, jacked him some taters. I wish he drew more walks, because on base percentage isn't great, but from a third baseman, that's fantastic. Stan Lopata was fucking insane this year. I don't know what got into him, but holy shit. Like, this is a guy who's just been a dude for most of his career. He's been productive, he's been useful, he hasn't ever been a star. So this seems like, what if I just hit 35 home runs just for the fun of it? And drew a shit ton of walks. And also hit almost 300. What a season. Man, Rocky Colavito, his profile is changing, and I think for the better. He's relying a little bit less on just batting average and a little bit more on drawing walks, what I think is a little bit more sustainable. That is a huge jump in walk rate. So walk percentage for this season was 18.5%. I would be shocked if last year it was even 10. It's 12. So yes, he gets on base, he hits the ball hard when he does. Outstanding. Ernie Banks, like, this is a fantastic baseball player. And while I know there's obvious flaws in his game, he's not a great shortstop. He strikes out way too much for a guy that barely walks. He hits the ball with authority, and he handles shortstop well enough that I don't have to worry about putting anybody else there. I think he's doing great. Gene Woodling had arguably one of the best seasons of his career. He set a career high in home runs, despite the fact he had leadoff for most of the year. Not quite a career high in on base percentage, but it's only by a single point because of his 1953 season. Is he a good outfielder? No. But he's such a good engine for the rest of the team. Ed Boucher, I think we saw first base finally. Did he cool off toward the end of the season? Absolutely. But he's an on base machine with a good bit of power, and there's still reason to believe that there's even another level here, which is just super exciting. You know what, Jim Gilliam? You basically gave me exactly what Red Deans gave me last year. Except you were a terrible second baseman. Okay, maybe you are not the answer to my prayers. This may be something we have to deal with. I had no idea he'd be that bad at second base. We got some decent contributions from people off the bench. Walt Marin had a great season. So did Joe Gragiola. Um, I think Andy Carey's got a pretty good chance of maybe getting second base next year. We'll see. I mean, Jim Gillen was still worth 2.8 wins above replacement, which sounds awesome. But when you cost us a win in the field, and I already don't have a great shortstop, I feel like we have to do something to change that rubric. What about our pitching, though? And this is, I think, where we really struggled as a team this year. Between Johnny Podres getting injured and also performing worse, Harvey Haddix dropping off toward the end of the season there, Joey J being fine, and a lot of people that we expected big things from just not coming through. Like, I expected Mudcat Grant to be a great starting pitcher. That isn't happening. Gary Bell badly struggled in his major league stuff here. We've got a lot of work to do if we want the pitching staff to be worthy of the offense that it supports. Um, I mean, thankfully, Joey J has transformed himself into being an everyday starting pitcher, which is nice to see. And he still has room to get better. So that's good. But I invested a lot in Gary Bell and Mudcat Grant. Both of whom were first round draft picks, neither one of which looks like a sustained starting pitcher candidate. We've got work to do. Let's give a quick shout out to, of course, Connie Johnson. Not Connie Johnson, that's not the last name. It is Johnson, I'll be damned. Who actually had a really good year for us down the stretch. I would have loved to let them pitch in the postseason. It didn't happen. They did at least get a ring, though, which is good. I'm glad that they got their ring. But yes, starting pitching is still very much a question mark. The bullpen, I think, was really reliable. Hoy Wilhelm was great. Grimsley was fantastic. Mike McCormick, there's so much to like here. I think he's got the chance to be the best out of all of them. He just needs lots and lots of innings to build up his arm and be ready to just utterly dominate. A lefty screwballer is the height of ridiculousness, in terms of something you have to hit. He's also dumb as a post, but that's alright. We can't all be geniuses. Who did we draft on this team? All players. Uh, Bell, Coates. Well, he's a Rule 5 draft pick, not an actual draft pick. Haddix is a draft pick. Jay's a draft pick. Johnny Pod Racing was. Stanlow Pod was a draft pick, but I didn't make it. Jim Gentile was a draft pick. Boyer was. Carey was. Banks was. Woodling wasn't mine. Mantle was a draft pick. Not mine, because that started in 1950. Maybe I did make that pick. I think I did make that pick. Because if I remember correct, I took over in the offseason of 1949. So we good, fam. We good. As long as Mickey Mantle just keeps making the best baseball season in recorded history each year, we're fine. We have nothing to worry about. But at least for the midterm here, I think we're in really good shape. I think this lineup is ridiculous, and it's also fairly young too. If we look at the default, because you see the ages here, look at this shit. We had two starters over 30, Stan Lopata and Gene Woodling. That's it. Two over 30. Now, Woodling is playing with fire at this point. At some point, he will decay, and he'll probably decay quickly. And we'll need to have a plan in place for him. We also have several people under 25, including the best player in the game, Mickey Mantle. Oh my god. Until next time, my friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you